Good morning. Here we are again. This is day 3. It's getting quite habit forming. So I set a goal at the start of the week wanted to talk about maintenance, and the 80-20 program on Phatt. And this week has been all about the daily accountability and the importance of having the accountability. And I do check in every day with my mentor. So I get on my scales on the morning. I do the motto, the wake, we, weigh, and record. And now this week I'm actually putting it out on Facebook, following instructions from my mentor, because I need to be sharing my story with other people. I am working with people at the moment, and it's important that I share my experience and the things that I do. The program worked for me. I lost just under 25 kgs. Has been the highest I went. I went from 101.6 down to 76.9 has been my lowest. And since April the 18th, I have been fluctuating underneath my goal weight, which was 80 kgs. So I bounce up and down. In maintenance, this is one of the things that happens in maintenance, is the weight does fluctuate because we're living an 80-20 program. And what the 80-20 program means is that I can eat what I want 20% of the time, providing I am sensible 80% of the time. And that just means I've got to watch what I've got to be aware. And in order to be aware, then I need to know my numbers. I need to know where I'm at, so that I can make sure that I'm making sensible decisions and that are going to achieve my goals in that time. So generally the goal for this week is I wanted to get down to 77.5 from a high of 79.7 at the start of the week. I put on 1.6 kgs on my off program day, 1.7 kgs on my off program day. And yesterday we talked about that. That went straight on the day after Sunday. And then I lost all that yesterday. So today's weight is actually 78.2. So I'm up 200 grams today, but that's not a problem because I did go out for coffee yesterday. So I had coffee, which dehydrated me. And I also had hot chips for lunch. And I also had an attack of the rice cakes last night. So there were decisions that were made there, conscious decisions. I knew what was going on. So I'm not surprised to see my weight up a couple of 100 grams today. And that's something that doesn't stress me when I'm on maintenance, because I know it's going to come straight off. What I wanted to talk about today, yesterday I talked about the fact that when I eat my pizza, my pepperoni pizza, that piles the weight straight on me. And I see that reflected the very next day. But there's another way that this can happen as well on maintenance, and I think it's important to discuss that as well. And what happens there is I eat, maybe I have this chicken parmo style meal. It's a chicken burger with bechamel sauce and cheese and chips and salad. I do have some salad with it, but yeah, it's the cheese and the chips that's not necessarily good for me. And what can happen with parmo is that doesn't necessarily hit me the very next day. So I might get up the next day and my weight, a similar thing with a cooked breakfast. Maybe the weight might have gone up a couple of hundred, or it might stay the same. But there's no real difference in weight the next day. But the day after that, then sometimes I can see the weight pop on there. So maybe I might go the next day and I might not gain anything. But the day after that, I might gain 500. And that's just the normal thing on maintenance. 48 hours for the food to get through the system, and it just takes a little bit longer. Usually what I tend to find happens, the reason that normally happens for me is because I don't drink enough water the following day. The water is such a critical part of this program and this process, because the water is what's helping the system to be able to flush itself out. And I notice when I've had my 20% day, if I've been off program, if I drink a lot of water the next day, then my body can flush out all of the toxins and all of the all of the stuff. Then it does what it has to do, what it's learned how to do through this program, and it flushes out. I pass a lot of water on those days, and that the food processes itself, and my body returns to normal very quickly. If I haven't drank enough water, I can usually tell because I wake up and I feel a little bit dehydrated. And that's what happened yesterday. I had coffee yesterday, and I don't drink a lot of coffee these days. But yesterday I had a coffee, And I probably didn't drink enough water to compensate for it, because the coffee's dehydrated me. I should have actually drank a bit of extra water yesterday. Because I was out and about, I probably didn't do that. And then, of course, I have a couple of carbs. I do take my white kidney beans. White kidney beans turn the carbs, instead of them turning to sugar, they turn to water. So they're our magic beans. So I did have my carbs, my carb blockers. But yeah, so my weight's up to 78.2. I'm not stressed about it at all because, like I said, my weight has fluctuated consistently since the 18th of April, between 76.9 and 79.7. So it can bounce up and down quite a little bit. So 200 grams is nothing. Today we'll be back on clean eating. I'll do my water again today. I've done my goop this morning, and everything is looking good. So that's the benefits of working with a healthy gut. Basically, what we've talked about is the two different ways in which the weight goes on after we have a cheat day or an off-program day. We don't want to call it cheating because it's not cheating, because we actually live an 80-20 rule. That's the rules. I get to eat what I want 20% of the time. If I do that, then I'm going to put weight on. The weight is going to go on, but my body knows how to process it. Sometimes the weight goes on instantly, and I see it reflected the very next day. Other times, it takes 2 days for the weight to show up. Sometimes it takes 48 hours for whatever reason. And all I do on those days, generally, if it's taking 48 hours, it's usually because I haven't had enough water. And I'll notice that I feel thirsty and I feel a bit dehydrated. So the next day, I just up my water intake, make sure I get plenty of water, and try to finish my water before 7 o'clock, so that I'm not holding excess water and I don't wake up all night to go to the toilet. And that's the way that it works. So life is better when you goop. I goop every morning, and the reason that I goop is because it cleans and it keeps my gut healthy. A healthy gut is important to me because it means that my body's processing food. It's not storing the sludge around the inner layers of my stomach and stopping the nutrients of the food getting into my bloodstream and into my system to be able to do that. So I get maximum benefit of the food that I'm eating, and I enjoy my food too. So that's why a healthy gut's important to me. If you want to know more about Goop, or you want to know more about the Phatt Program, give me a shout. Contact me through Messenger, I look forward to catching up. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye now.